I'm here to help. So I'm going to turn this over now to Brittany. She's going to do a short introduction. We'll dabble back and forth. We are going to do live on this car right here. We'll show you some very basics. We do have some tactile touch and feel pass-arounds too for brakes and tires, just to give you information on that. But here's Brittany.
Hi. Little background on me. This is my first conference, so this is super exciting for me. I've been with Wagner for 5 months now, I think. Time is flying, but I came from the heavy-duty diesel industry, so cars is kind of the same thing on a much smaller concept, but I am so passionate about educating people in this industry, and women especially. I feel like we don't always get a fair shake when we're walking into a dealership. So I second what Susan said. If you guys, and it doesn't have to be Subaru related, how many of you guys own Subarus? Okay. So even if you have a car that's not a Subaru, we are available anytime for any questions regarding any vehicle that you guys have. Okay. We are going to start. Quick agenda, just tell you guys a little bit about the service department, what expresses versus main shop, warranties, why it's better to go OEM versus aftermarket parts, some service advice as far as like how scheduling and pricing works, what you guys can expect when you walk into a service department, upselling, how to know whether what you're being sold is legitimate versus not legitimate, red flags to look out for, and then Susan's part will be field trip into the vehicle to look at some common issues and repairs that will be done on those. So at any point, if anyone has a question, please stop me, raise your hand, whatever it is. So servicing at your OEM. OEM stands for original equipment manufacturer. So that is, if you have a Subaru, you are going to a Subaru dealership to have your vehicle serviced, okay? The reason why that is good for you and for your vehicle is because we have factory trained Subaru technicians. We also are the experts in the warranties that your vehicles carry, okay? We have access to Subaru genuine parts and are able to get those delivered in a timely manner for you. And then everything that we do comes with a warranty as well. Anything that you get done through our service department is going to come outside of your warranty, is going to come with a 1-year service and parts warranty on that as well, okay? Red flags seen at other shops. This can vary. I'm sure some of you guys have some horror stories, but I would just say when you walk in the service department, it's a feeling. Whether you're greeted when you first walk in, whether you feel like your questions are being answered, the withcomingness of information from the service advisors. You guys should always know what the price is for what you're having done. That should always be discussed with you before you agree to anything or before anything is done to your vehicle. Nothing should be done to your vehicle without you being notified about it first, whether that's a phone call, text message. We have different systems that we use, but you should never be in a situation where you feel like, number one, you don't know how much it's going to cost, you don't know when it's going to be done, and you don't feel confident that it's going to be done the right way the first time. Okay. Warranties and what they cover, I'm going to kind of let Susan hammer out on that.
So you can buy a warranty when you first buy the car. You can also buy aftermarket warranties. You can buy, usually on most vehicles, up to 3 years, 36,000 miles. Your cost on repairs is skyrocketing. Everybody's been to the grocery store, and you know, $100 does not buy what it used to buy, nor does it buy it here anymore. The tariffs have kicked in. So those kind of costs, everybody's labor rate's gone up. I encourage you on a new car, you're looking at somewhere between 55 and 65 computers on this car. They don't fix those computers anymore, ladies. They take them out and put a new one in. So if you're purchasing a new or used car, I would strongly consider the warranties. I am someone who never bought a warranty in my life. I bought one on my 18 Forester and had to use it a couple times, not much, but a couple little tiny things. But the industry has changed, so consider a warranty. Know the ins and outs, what it covers. They should give you cover sheets on what it covers. If you're buying used, they have different plans. Make sure you know when the warranty started. So on a used car, that warranty started on that car the day it was originally sold. So it was sold in 2022, June 1st. That warranty started. So that date will go from that forward, not when you're buying the car. So if it says 10 years, 100,000 miles, that's 10 years from June 1st, 2022. So make sure you understand the dates and what is exactly covered. Ask questions. If you get a powertrain warranty, that's your engine, transmission, drive shaft. It includes only the engine, only the drive shaft, and the transmission. If there's anything bolted onto it, the alternator, this, that, none of that's covered, just the main part of that. So that's a valuable question to ask. Google it if you don't know. Call another dealership and ask what their warranty is if you don't know. Call and talk to Brittany or we will go over it. Hence the reason you want to buy a warranty. Honestly, it's the computers and the eyesight. The headlights, if you have, believe it or not, you're moving headlights now that move with you when you turn the tire, with steering responsive headlights. They're $1,500 for that unit alone. So that's the kind of cost you're looking at. Any questions on warranties? I'll turn it back over to Brittany.
And just to hit a little bit on what she said, a warranty from a third-party company is different than a warranty from your manufacturer. Yeah. So when you go to a lot that is not a Subaru dealership and they sell you on a warranty, almost 99% chance that is not a warranty that is held and distributed by Subaru. It's a third-party company. So when you start getting into third-party warranties, that's where you really have to look at what is covered and make sure that it's worth the value to you. A lot of things that break in your engine and your powertrain, it is not the actual engine itself, it is a component within it, and it's those small components that don't end up having the coverage. So that's just something to keep in mind. Make sure that you guys know who your warranty is through, what it covers, and then it's worth the value that you're purchasing it for. And I'm mainly talking about third-party warranties because Subaru has great warranties. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Used car lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We've bought new, but mostly used or certified pre-owned.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about the difference between warranty you get here versus what you, because you can get the warranty.
Correct, correct. So they offer an aftermarket warranty. We vet those very closely. The certified pre-owned is a Subaru warranty, so that would be just like a new car warranty. But even that's a valid question. So like Brittany said, check the third-party warranty.
And you can ask them who holds the warranty.
Yeah.
Like it.
Good. Yes.
Yeah, and we do, Brightline is a third-party warranty we use down there. It's one that we work with regularly. We choose a good one because the cars will come back to us for service. So we want to make sure we're choosing a quality partner there. I can't say that everybody does the same. So that's not to say never purchase a third-party warranty. Just make sure you know who holds it, how long they've been in business, is a reputable warranty company, and Google has a plethora of information on that. So.
And reviews.
Reviews are huge. Yeah. So, okay. What qualifies for express service and what services need to be scheduled? So we have an express service department located right over there. Most of our cars filter through there throughout the day. Express service to us is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning till 5 p.m. and Saturdays 9 to 1. You do not need an appointment ever to come through our express service department. Okay. Now we are growing and we have days where we are busier. So if you are on a time crunch and you know, hey, I need to be out of here in 1 hour exactly, I would encourage you to call in and see if you can get an appointment scheduled for your oil change. Other than that, feel free to come through the express department. We are normally kind of busy first thing in the morning. Lunchtime tends to be a little busy, and then right before close. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you guys are on a time crunch, we get cars through as quickly as we can. But with it being a no appointment type of situation, sometimes the wait times can be a little bit longer. Anything that can be done through express is what I consider maintenance services. So oil changes are done through express, tire rotations. We can replace your batteries or check your batteries for you through express. We can check your tire pressures. We can check the condition of your tires. And we can do alignments and put tires on your vehicle through express as well. Every time that you come to this dealership, unless you explicitly say that you do not want it to one of your service advisors, we will do a free multi-point inspection on the vehicle, which we shorten to we call it the MPI. So if you've heard that term, and that happens in the process of the technician having your car up on the rack. They are looking for anything leaking, dripping, burning, out of place, missing, any red flags on your car, and they say, hey, we may want to get this checked out. Now, that being said, my express technicians are not fully trained Subaru technicians for diagnostic work. So if they see something out of the ordinary while your car is on the rack, your advisor is going to come speak to you and say, we have the car up on the rack, we notice it's leaking oil, or you're low on coolant, or whatever it is that they visually noticed. You are more than welcome to come out and look at your vehicle. We like to bring the customer out to the garage to see their car up on the rack. And that goes across any dealership. You should always have the right to look at your vehicle. So if they tell you that your car is leaking coolant, you can ask to look at your car and see where it's leaking coolant from, so that you have an idea of what they're talking, and you can assure yourself that they're being truthful to you. But that being said, anything that we kind of find that's like, hey, this is a next level diagnostic, that is something we'll want to get you scheduled in to get checked out. If it's something that we feel is unsafe to drive, like if you were to leave right now, you would be putting yourself in jeopardy, we'll communicate that. We have a fleet of 37 loaner vehicles. We'll put you in that free of charge for our service customers, and you drive that vehicle until we get yours diagnosed and we figure out what the repair needs to be there. Okay. So just the main idea of Express is it's minor things. If you're not sure, I encourage you to call the lady who checked you in, Laura. She's part of our in-house BDC department. So every time you guys call in to schedule anything or you have any questions, you're talking to real life humans that work here in the BDC office. Okay. So they're going to give you the most accurate information possible. But yeah, so sometimes in Express, it's quick in, oil change, tire rotation. That should be done every 6,000 miles. Okay. But keep in mind, if you don't put a lot of miles on your vehicle, time is also something that matters as well. So we have some customers who may put 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 miles on their car a year. A good rule of thumb is if you haven't hit 6,000 miles, but it's been a year since your last service, you're due for service by time. Okay. So either 6,000 miles or a year, whichever comes first. Okay. Any questions about Express?
One little thing, I'll jump in here, Brittany.
Yeah.
Cold weather's coming. Your tire pressure will go down. We can check that through Express at that point too. So when it gets to 20 and something uglier than that, your tire pressure falls dramatically on that. So if you have a low tire pressure, they can handle that through Express as well.
And that's a free thing.
Yeah.
Okay. You can roll.
They do when they come, they check your tire, but when you get the cold, yeah.
Yeah, so and a brief on the MPI, when I say that, they're checking your tire pressures, they're looking at your tire tread depth to know whether or not you're getting close to needing those tires replaced. If we're doing a tire rotation, we're going to automatically take brake measurements for you on your brake pad life and let you know where that's at. We're topping off fluids. If you need coolant, we top that off. Windshield wiper fluid, things like that are all topped off during that inspection free of charge. Okay. And then anything that needs to be scheduled, really anything that's outside of the Express window. Check engine lights, something broken, something busted, something leaking. We are really good about prioritizing emergency situations. So if you guys are in a situation where you go out to your car and you turn it on and it just makes a very loud noise and won't turn on, or there's oil all over your driveway or something where we cannot safely drive the vehicle, give us a call and we'll get you in that same day. If it's something where you're like, the check engine light came on, but everything seems to be driving fine, I feel okay, then that's something that we would probably get you scheduled in to come and get those codes read and figure out exactly what you need. Okay. Major mileage checkpoints. For those of you that own Subarus, I'm sure you're familiar with the term 30, 60, 90K services. There is a major maintenance service that's due every 30,000 miles. So as we go up in increments here, 30, 60, there should be a 90 there, and then we get into 120. So those are where we're doing things like your air filters, your brake fluid, your coolant is going to be drained and filled. We're going to do spark plugs on that 60,000 and that 120. And that's really just to prevent failures down the road, kind of a preventative maintenance type thing. Okay. Those are more costly services. Okay. So that's something that you can always call in. We'll give you a quote. That price doesn't change on those services. That's a flat in and out the door type of thing. But the 30Ks sit right around 700, depending on the vehicle you have. And then we're getting the 60K, we're right around $1,000. So that is something to keep in mind if you're planning on getting one of those services done. Four-wheel alignments. Anytime you guys are sold tires.
We have a handout. You guys
Yeah.
send me your
Oh,
folder.
yep.
There is a handout that breaks down each of the mile services, just to give you guys.
Perfect. Thank you. And then I am going to go ahead and pass these around because I kind of skipped over these, but this is a really good measurement of and it's best to just kind of stick your finger in here, but this is what a new tire tread depth should feel like. And when you guys are looking at your tires, you don't just want to look at the outside edge. You want to look on the inside. You want to go all the way back to the back side of that tire and make sure that there's no uneven wear on the back side of the tire as well. Okay. And then here's what it's at. Yellow and then red is, we definitely need to put
And then there's brake pads there too as well.
Yep. And then brake pad thickness as well. So green is going to be good. Yellow obviously is concern, and red is we are not safely braking. Okay. So you guys can pass those around.
A little bit about tires. So if most of you are in Subarus, if you have a flat and you've got 6, 7, 8, 9 tread depth out of 10, they can shave a tire down. So you don't have to buy all 4 tires again. So if you're traveling, I was a victim of this. When we hit something in the road, my tires were at 8 and they told me I had to get all new tires. I didn't work here at this point, but I was in a Subaru. I bought a new set of tires when, if I had waited, they could have shaved a tire down and matched the other trade depth on it. So be aware of that. So you kind of have to balance at that point. You know, my tires are at 4. I'm going to need tires at 2 anyway. I might as well get a set of 4 now. Or I'm at 8. I can buy a shaved tire and be good for another few years. So be aware of the tire thing. That's a question we get all the time, especially obviously in service in Brittany's area.
Yeah, and just to bounce off that a little bit, so Subarus are all-wheel drive all the time, right? You cannot, there are other makes and models that you can turn it off, you can turn it on. Subarus is all-wheel drive all the time, which means, and when we're talking in 30 seconds of a tire, you're going to hear that term. When you buy new tires, they're at 10s, right? They're brand new, and 10s is like the measurement of, on the thing we're passing around, the actual thickness or the availability of tread in between those 2 raised points. So as your tire starts to wear, you're going to go to a 9 on your tires, and you're going to go to an 8 on your tires, and you're going to go to a 7. Once we get down to 4s and 3s, that's when we're going to start recommending tires to you. Since Subarus are all-wheel drive all the time, if you get a flat and you're running a set of tires that you've maybe had on for 3 years, you can't just put a new tire on your car, brand new from the store. And the reason for that is with an all-wheel drive system, you only want 2 30 seconds difference in your tires, in the actual tread depth, because all the tires are moving continuously all the time. So if we've got one here that's got this much extra tread on it and the other 3 guys don't have that much tread, we are causing issues within our differential system, okay? So, and a lot of people don't know this, they're confused when they come in for service because they've never heard this before. If you guys go to a mom and pop tire shop, they will throw a tire on there for you. They won't tell you about the all-wheel drive system. So when Susan's talking about shaving, if you got a set of tires on that are 3 years old and you don't drive a lot, and they've got maybe 6 30 seconds or 7 left, and you don't want to pay for a whole set of tires, we can take that new tire and we send it out and they actually shave tread off of it. We put it back on the car. So now that new tire is at the same tread depth that all your other tires are. Okay. The only caveat to that is that that takes 24 hours to 48 hours to get the tire back. So you have to be prepared for either riding on a donut for those 2 days, or if we have an extra available loaner, we'll put you in one until that tire gets in for you. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay.
On the new hybrids, whether it's us, Toyota, Honda, Ford, GM, those cars will not come with a spare because that's where the battery pack is. That brings up a whole new, just be aware when you're buying a car, does it have a spare?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know a lot of people who drive Subarus, they will buy a full-size spare. They'll get it mounted on a rim. And as they come in for service and they're like, okay, my tires were an 8, now they're a 7, they'll just preemptively send that tire off to be shaved so that they always have a spare tire on and in their vehicle that is comparable to the tires that are running on the car, okay? That really depends on how far away you work from home and stuff. If you feel like you'd be in an uncomfortable situation where you don't have a tire on the vehicle or can't drive on a donut, but that is another good option. I would recommend everyone have a full-size spare if it's possible in the vehicle. Okay. Service advice, typical service intervals. I think we kind of already talked about that. I do want to hit on the OEM versus aftermarket parts. Regardless of where you guys choose to get your service done, you want to make sure that the parts that are being put on your vehicle are OEM parts, okay? The reason for that is that aftermarket parts are exactly that. They are made after and in a copy of the OEM part, and that means that they're more cheaply made. They are cheaper in price normally, but the quality goes down with that. The other thing is if you put an aftermarket part on your vehicle and you still have a warranty on the car and you bring the car in and you have an aftermarket part on it that led to another failure, your warranty will not cover that. Okay, so if you still have powertrain, let's say you've got 50,000 miles on your Subaru, you still have powertrain and something goes wrong that isn't covered under powertrain, so you go to a small mom and pop shop and get that fixed, and that leads to like a catastrophic engine failure. Your engine would have been covered, but now that you had put an aftermarket part on it, it is going to void that warranty. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Pricing, I think I kind of touched on that. Pricing varies at different dealerships. Again, you should always know what you're paying for service. The hourly rate should be communicated to you, and the parts pricing should be communicated to you. Okay. I would always, for those of you that have somebody else that I know that I like to consult with my fiance when I'm going to get repairs done on a vehicle, even though I work at a dealership, but you should be able to get an itemized estimate from your service advisor. Okay. There is no reason at all that they shouldn't be able to provide that with you and allow you the time to review that, consider that, check around and make sure that the prices are legitimate before you agree to that. Okay. How to schedule. Again, our BDC department, which stands for Business Development Center, I've got Homer and I've got Laura. They are in-house. They're here Monday through Friday. Laura's here on Saturdays, and they're dedicated only to service. So their only job is to take incoming calls from customers and make outbound calls to customers. So if you guys want to schedule, my recommendation would be either to reach out to them, and then Susan and I are also available via email or phone number as well.
And when you call Laura and Homer, please leave an email or a voicemail. They get a lot of hang-ups, but they'll call you back anyway because they'll look at the phone number and call you back. But just say I'm calling and leave a voicemail.
And we will call you back.
Yeah.
They're great about that. They take pride in that. Phone systems can be kind of finicky. I've had a couple customers call in and say I've called 3 or 4 times. Number one, make sure you're leaving voicemails. And then if you can't get anyone on the phone, feel free to stop by, or email is always a great way to reach any of us. If you reach out to me via email, I'll see it within 30 minutes and I'll get it taken care of. Okay. Online scheduling, that is not a feature that we have currently. We switched to DMS softwares about 5 months ago, so we are not up and running on that. So any scheduling you need will have to be done over the phone, or you can stop by and get that done in person. And then upselling versus saving you a trip. This is kind of a tricky one. As a dealer, Wagner Subaru will never try to sell you something that you don't need. But my service advisor's job is to look at your maintenance history, look at your vehicle and say, you know, maybe you've got 100,000 miles on your car and we're doing a pretty major engine repair. There's another component in your engine that is known to fail or is time to be serviced. Don't be alarmed if they recommend you replace a part that hasn't failed yet. And the reason that a lot of dealerships will tell you to do that is because there's a lot of times labor overlaps. So we may be pulling off the same parts to replace the part that's failed, and then there's another part right next to it that has a chance of failing in the future. You just pay for the part. We'll slap that on there while we're in there, and then you guys don't have to worry about that repair in the future. So if you ever have a service advisor saying, hey, we're replacing your water pump and we might as well do your timing belt while we're in there, that's something that's pretty labor intensive. We're already spending a lot of money on labor. We'd like to replace this part for you while we're there. That's not to say that you have to do it. You can feel free to ask your service advisor any questions. They will take the time to explain to you why they are recommending replacing that. But that's just something to keep in mind. Save you money down the road. Okay. And our advisors here know pretty well. Subarus have tendencies. Certain years, makes and models, the same things fail on those. So if we have a chance to catch that before it does fail and doesn't leave you stranded roadside, that's what we're going to try to do. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers that slide. Any questions so far? Okay. So this is a repair order. All of you guys have a copy in your folder that you can look at.
Not the easiest thing to read.
It's not.
The reason.
It's super confusing.
Yeah. So this is a touch and learn here.
It is. It is. Okay. Before we get into this, I would encourage, if you don't already do it, any paperwork that you get from a car facility, you keep in your glove box. Okay. Keep all your records of everything you've ever had done readily available to yourself in your glove box. Okay. So I'll run through this really quick. This is an invoice. I know it's really hard to see, but it's got our telephone number on here, your vehicle color, year, make, model, VIN number, mileage in and mileage out. Tag number is an internal thing for us to keep track of your car. This is going to have your promise time. This is going to have our hourly rate. Okay, this is our hourly service rate, which is $176.95. It's going to show how you paid, and it's going to show the date that it was closed. Okay. And then right here, we order by letters. So we would refer to this as line A, line B, line C. Each thing that's done to your vehicle gets its own dedicated line. So when I'm looking at this and everything looks all jumbly, I look for the A. And then I look for the B, and then I look for the C, and I can decipher from there. Okay. So line A on here, this first line is going to tell you what the service was that was performed. So this says Express Synthetic Oil and Filter Change. So that just means you came through Express for an oil change. Okay. Then line B is going to say the same thing, Express Tire Rotation. And then line C is going to say Perform Express Service Inspection, which would be our multi-point inspection, or MPI. Okay. Then if you look down under each of the line, you're going to have a breakdown of parts. So you're going to have the part number for every single thing that was put on your vehicle. Okay. And then you're going to have the price of those parts broken down for you first. Then you're going to have the breakdown of labor. And you're going to have any other miscellaneous charges right here. Okay. And you're going to have that on every single line. So the tire rotation, you shouldn't be charging any parts because we're just taking your tires off and putting them back on. Okay. There is a labor charge for that, no additional charges, and all of the lines should read exactly like that. And then when you get to the bottom of the repair order, you'll have your tax total, subtotal, and then your final total on there. Okay. Any questions on that?
Obviously, if you have a major repair, this gets to be.
It does.
Yeah, the service
convoluted.
traders are happy to walk you through it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why it's important just to keep, if you ever are having an issue with your vehicle and you kind of want to remind yourself of what repairs were done recently, you can go through and just remind yourself, okay, they put this part on, they put this part on, they put this part on. Okay. And then just make sure that your totals are correct on your invoice as well. Okay. We're human. Sometimes mistakes happen when we're charging people out. We never want to be in a situation where we're overcharging. Okay. All right. Any questions on that? And this should be given to you every time you leave the service department anywhere. Okay. You should get this. And these two things, all of your parts and your labor should always be broken down for you. You should never go to a shop where they sell you a bid job, which is just like a fun fact. If they tell you it's going to be $800 to do that, you want to know how much the part is and you want to know how much the labor is. Okay. All right. This is an MPI form that's done through Express. Now, this is what it looks like when it's done through Express. If your car goes back to our main shop, this form is going to look a little bit different. They do a more in-depth inspection, okay? But this is what you can be comfortable knowing was checked if you bring your car through Express service and a multi-point inspection is done. Okay, bless you. So all the check marks on the green means everything's good to go. If we look right here, we've got things like your suspension, your shocks, your struts, tires, your axle boots, brake pads. These are all things that my techs are just visually looking at. So if you've got uneven tire wear, it's going to be on here, and your tire tread depth measurements. If you have any issues with your axle boots, they're going to list those on here. And then we grade them kind of like green is good. Yellow is we might be nearing where we're going to start thinking about replacing that component. And red is like this is an issue now and it needs to be remedied. Okay. So if we look at the brake pad measurements at 4 millimeters, we're in the yellow, right? We're getting very close to where those are going to need replaced. We start recommending a replacement at 3 millimeters. Okay. So this not only tells you the condition of your vehicle now, but it gives you an idea and kind of helps you plan for the next services. If you come in and you've got 4 millimeters on your brake pads, you can expect that the next time you come in that we're probably going to let you know that you need to get your brakes done. Okay. So it kind of, I like to think of it as like pre-financial planning to know that, hey, I am having this come up in the very near future. So we will warn you as well, just so you guys can be more prepared for that. Okay. And then I do want to stress again, my express techs are not fully certified Subaru heavy techs. So they may say you have a leak. We're not sure where it's coming from. We're not sure what is leaking, but we can see that there is some kind of liquid there that shouldn't be there. And then once we get you scheduled in for service, it's going to be our main shop our main shop technicians who are like, it's coming from this specific area, and this is what it's going to cost to fix. Okay. Or hopefully you have warranty. Any questions on this? Okay. You should be provided one of these every time you come. Okay. If you're not provided one of these, whoever is checking you out can get that taken care of for you. Okay. Again, we try to be on it 100% of the time. We are human, but you should get one of these every time your vehicle leaves if you got a multi-point inspection done. Okay. We actually kind of already talked about this, the all-wheel drive system on Subarus. Were there any questions about the 30-second measurements on the tires and why you can't put a brand new tire on a vehicle with older tires? Do we all feel okay on that? Okay, awesome. All right.
That's me.
That's you.
This is where we
Okay.
get to get up and move around since you've been sitting for a while. I will go over a couple of things first. Oil versus water leaks. So in the summertime when the air conditioner is running, you walk out to your car and you're terrified because there's something under the car. That's just your condenser getting cold and melting. So water and oil, very different. You can smell it, you can touch it. If it cleans up easily, it's water, you're okay. Oil's a different thing. Transmission fluid and coolant are red and green, depending on which ones you have in
A good
your car.
rule of thumb is color or sheen.
Yeah.
If it has a color to it and
Yeah.
it's shiny, that's something that
Yes.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But other than that, you should be good.
Yes. So, but be aware of that. Keeping, you know, when you back your car up, every once in a while, just look and go, okay, nothing there. Yay. Everybody's happy. We want to be happy. Brake rotors versus brake pads. So you've got the little pass around. That's your brake pads. The rotor is what they sit on, so they rub against it. So they can get warped.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen for a multitude of reasons. So if they tell you need rotors, that's because the brake pad can no longer make good contact in there. You can get down a rabbit hole. If you talk to guys or if you're a racer, they've got slotted, pitted to dispense the heat out of them. Just be aware, if you take good care of your car, those things at some point, the rotors will probably have to be replaced. It can be at 60,000, it can be at 200,000, but brake pads are going to be the more normal wear and tear. If you drive like I do, I live in Bellbrook, it's 2 miles to the interstate. I drive up here, I get off. My brake pads have 120,000 miles on them because I don't hit the brakes that very much. If you're driving very short distances with a lot of traffic signals, you're going to go through your brake pads very much a different speed. So you can never say, how long will my brake pads last? There's no way to know. It depends on your driving. Just ask these guys when you come in, what are my brake pads? Because I keep asking them, I've got 120,000 miles. Don't I need pads yet? And they're like, no, they're still great. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a miracle. So tire rotation, tire depth, we've been through. Brake fluid level. I will show you that here in the car. That's not something you should ever touch. That's completely a tech. Let them handle it. But there's a very clear line in there where it shows, and we'll show you that once we get to the car. Antifreeze and coolant. You have an overflow for the antifreeze. So you've got a side tank. So I assume we all know not to take the hot coolant cap off in the car in the summertime. That can end up bad. So don't touch it and see if it's cool. It does have an overflow. That will never be completely filled because when the car gets hot, that gives that area to overflow into. You're going to want to put, and all these cars come with it, antifreeze that has a lower rating for the winter so it doesn't freeze. So you can't add water to it in the summertime, that's fine. But they can check too what the temperature it goes down to, which is nice. Wiper fluid. Obviously, everybody knows where the wiper fluid is. There are different ones you can use. If you have eyesight, there are some that you should not use. Mm-hmm. You have Rain-X, which leaves a sheen on there. Sometimes that'll trigger the eyesight. So just be aware and read your manual if you should use the ones that have the extra protection on it. We've gone over, the frequent oil changes.
We had a customer in 2 days ago, and she's young, and she's the one who calls her dad for everything, which is great. But my service, she was like way past her oil change, like thousands of miles. Like I think 12,000 miles to be exact, past when she should have got it changed. My advisor went out there, and she's like, I'm just a girl. I don't know that. And he was like, okay, I understand that you call your dad for things. That's awesome. But like, if you guys take anything away from this class, which I'm sure you all already know, but oil changes are the most important thing that you can do for your vehicle. You cannot go over on those 6,000 miles. Subarus, we run full synthetic oil here. which means that it has additives in it. It lasts longer than conventional oil did on older vehicles. 6,000 miles is the range on that. You do not want to go past 6,000 miles. The oil feeds everything in your car. That feeds the most expensive component in your car, which is your engine. So there is no playing with that metric at all. You guys got to get your oil changed at 6,000 miles. And then it gives you a chance just to get a once over in your car and make sure that we're catching anything that could leave you stranded, right? Every time you come in, we're going to do that multi-point and make sure that everything is in a condition where you guys are going to get safe home every day. Okay, go.
On the oil change,
Yeah.
I'm gone part of the winter,
Mhm.
so, and when you said timing, what time, if I don't have the 6,000?
So if the rule of thumb is 6,000 miles or 1 calendar year, whichever comes first. So like I have a customer who bought a brand new 2018 Outback from us and it's got 7,000 miles on it. So he comes in once a year for his annual oil change because he knows he doesn't put enough miles on it. And then if it's a vehicle that you don't drive a lot, it's really important to make sure that you're getting on the highway at least once a month, every couple months, and putting some miles on that car, keeping your battery charged up, making sure that your exhaust system is staying cleared out. If you guys are consistently doing like 1 mile trips in your vehicle, your catalytic converter is not going to have the same life as it would if you're getting on the highway, getting the engine hot, burning all that exhaust and that soot out of there. So if you have a vehicle, it's just your princess, you keep it in the garage, you don't drive it very much, make sure every now and then you get it out on the highway, put 50 miles or so on it and allow it to do its thing, re-lubricate all the parts and stuff like that.
We had that issue during COVID, so a lot of them would go dead. So we would tell people, go for a Sunday drive.
Yeah.
Get out and drive that car. Are you leaving the car here when you go on to Florida? How long are you going to be gone for?
Well, this winter things change. Normally about 5 months, but I put it on a trickle charger.
Okay, I was going to say trickle charge it, or I can show you how to disable the battery because you will have a dead battery because the batteries, the computers stay live in here. So if you're going to be gone for a couple months, we can show you how to unhook the battery. So when you come back, you just hook it back up and lo and behold, it'll still start. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is everybody ready to come look at cars over here? We're just going to do this nice little Forester sitting right behind me. That'll give everybody a chance to stretch their legs. You can. You can do your own filters, actually. Only reason I bring that up is when you're underneath the car and you're changing your oil, please know which one is your transmission and which one is your oil, because your transmission, ladies, what is it, Brittany, $600 if they screw that up, if they dump all the transmission?
Well, it depends on whether you started the car or not.
No, don't start the car. If it comes out red, don't start the car.
Yeah.
So your coolant, this is what you don't want to open up if it's hot. This is your overflow. So you will see
hot, she means you just turned the car off.
Yes, yeah. So you can touch it. You won't be able to touch it.
It's pressurized.
Your overflow is here. So that will not be full. So, but you can pop that off. You can pop this off, put water in there. So, but let it cool down first. Your dipstick. On your dipstick, they'll have 2 lines that you mark into. Brittany alluded to this. Brittany's was only 12,000. I had a lady pull in. This was years ago. She'd gone 46,000 miles, lady, without an oil change. The engine was blown. So they came and got me and they said, we think you should talk to her, Susan. And I'm like, oh, this is probably not going to be a fun conversation. So we pulled it out. It was dry and crystallized. The oil had actually crystallized on there. She goes, I got busy with life. And I go, you can't get busy with life on an oil change. Window sticker in your car tells you when. Your computer will tell you when. So make sure you keep that in the back of your mind. I like to tell the customers, when you're in, if it's Mother's Day, remember you need to get an oil change at Thanksgiving. Tie it together with something if you're somebody that can't remember to look up or check the manual. 6 months if you're putting 1,000 miles a year or a month on the car. Windshield wiper fluid. They will top that off when you're here. So there are many things that can happen with windshield wiper fluid. So just make sure you're using a good quality. You don't want to use straight water. You do want it because it does have an antifreeze in here. In a Subaru, your oil filter will be on the top of the car. There are a few that they're not, but there's 99% of them are on top of a car. It does have a gasket in it. There's multiple reasons you like it on the top of the car. It's easy to get it off. On a standard car, it's going to be on the side up underneath. So just be aware that's not always going to be the place. If you're leaving for Florida in the wintertime, you see how this is off on the battery. When they're sitting on the showroom floor, you guys don't understand how loud a horn can be in here, but if you put a kid in this car, it'll scare everybody in here to death. So we unhook every car on this. I've been terrorized by small children in here. But if you're going on it, if you're leaving for a while, this is the only one you have to take off. It's the black right here. You just pop that up, bend it out of the way, ladies, and you're good. When you come back, slide it on. If I put it on right now, you'll hear the car go live. This may snap at you. Do not worry about that. That doesn't mean anything. It'll throw a little spark. Boom. The car is now live. So you can move the seat and everything. But that's as easy as it is just to disable that car for your trip if you don't want to leave it on a trickle charger. The trickle charger is great. Red, negative. So positive, negative. Brake fluid is here. That is something you'll never have to touch. You can look and see, and there's a line in here, and it'll tell you where it is, but that's what it should look like. Fairly simple stuff. So this car is laid out almost exactly like every. Chevy has it right there as well. The dipstick is going to always be in yellow. That's something a consumer can check. So remember, most cars are going to give you a color coding in here, red, green, blue, so you know what you can get into.
And Susan, I'm going to interject on the brake fluid real quick. So brake fluid is hydroscopic, which means it absorbs water. That is its job. So brake fluid is not good forever. You do have to get your brake fluid changed, which is part of those 30, 60, 90K services. Eventually, just like your oil, your brake fluid will not do its job. If you do not have brake fluid in there or it is not working like it should, your car will not stop. Okay?
So any questions on this zone? So over here, you've got obviously a tire. I don't know, does anybody ever want to change a tire again? So, but if you're somewhere, so remember, when you start here, do not jack the car up until you get the lug nuts loose, because the tire will spin on you. So lug nuts, if you can't get it loose, stand on it, jump up and down. Sometimes you may have to break it loose. Usually a guy will stop and help you loosen them all up. They do, you know. And then in your manual, there will be a guide, but there's a mark here on the side of the car where you put the jack and lift it up. Jack in the trunk. You lift it up, pull the tire off, put the donut on, put it back on, tighten them, and then once you get it back down on the ground, then really tighten them up. Go all the way around and then go back all the way around again. Those donuts, you can go 45, 50. Do not go ripping 65 miles an hour on a donut. They are good. Listen, we've all been in situations. Try to get it off as soon as you can. Don't drive any farther than you need to on a donut. You've passed people on the interstate. Try not to do that. Take surface streets. Does that make sense? So in the back is where your spare tire is going to be. This will be different locations. If you're in some of the vans, some of the trucks, they will have a screw here that will drop the tire down from down below, which makes it even more fun to get them out. Subarus, with the exception of the Ascent, are going to be here. So there's your tire, your jack. Everything you need is right there, which makes it super easy. You can throw it back in here. Believe it or not, if you pull this out, they even give you a bag to throw the dirty tire in your car so you don't get your stuff messed up once you're in the car. So just be aware of that. Everybody's got their phone on them, so everybody can grab and Google how to change a tire on whichever car you're driving at that point. So here's how to do it. Or, like I said, flag somebody down and go, hey, can you help me? Questions on the car?
I didn't know how to open the hood.
So it's going to change.
The first time.
Yeah. So there's a well, and I'll show you everybody that owns a Subaru because they make it really clear. I'm being facetious here. So I don't know who designed this, but if you look right here, there's a little picture of the hood that you can't see. But right in front of it is the latch that releases the hood. That will change on every vehicle. So just know it can be all kinds of fun to figure out where that little latch is. You do have also on these cars safety features. Everybody's a female here. So if you're Ubering, please make sure this is in the up position, because if it's in the down position, you cannot get out of the back seat of the car because you're now with a side child safety seat. So you could get in that car and not be able to get out. So when you get in the Uber, just make sure that's in the upward position. Tell all your daughters they're going to college, if they're using Lyft, and Uber. It is. So you'll get in and you cannot get out. So make sure you check that. If that's not in that position, do not get in that rideshare car. Any other questions?
You had mentioned about, I know like it's the donut that comes as
Mhm.
a spare, and it's possible to get a full spare.
You can.
To stay in the car?
Yeah, so the full spare, so this is tricky. So some of our cars, you can put a full spare in the back here. What you lose this little guy. So you pull this out, but the full spare will fit in there. So you can do that on Outbacks and Foresters. It will not work. This will come up and sit up a little bit of an angle in a cross track. What are you driving?
Forester.
Yeah, so you can put a full-size spare if you wanted to. If you're going off-road, I'd suggest it. If you're out, in Utah, in Moab or something, you're going to
Back from there, actually. Coincidentally.
Yes, I would have a full-size spare if I was out there. So I was just out there last week with my son, and he took me some places where I would want a full-size spare. Yeah, yes.
And then could that be put into like the tire rotation?
Yes.
It could be done.
Yes. So Brittany was talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
So
y'all
you want it
buy-
to match because you can't.
Yeah.
The differential, if you put a different size tire, you're going to get scary shavings in there that you don't want.
And for those of you who drive the Wilderness Edition, I don't know if any of you do, it's got the fifth wheel on the
Yeah.
back. When we're rotating your tires, we will rotate that, we'll pull it off, and we'll put that on your car, and we'll keep, so that's something to keep in mind too. It's a 5-tire rotation every
Yeah.
time. Yep.
Yep.
So we'll also check the air pressure on that as well.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
Awesome. That is it, ladies. Thank you all for coming. Welcome, Brittany. This is her first one, so I think we should give her a hand.
Thank you.
Lindsay and I have been around for a while, so no hands for us. But if you have any questions, we'll stick around and talk. So don't be afraid to come up and ask. Brittany knows a lot more about this than I do, so ask Brittany.
That's all I have. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Do you service like any make of car?
we don't. Subarus only. So yeah.
Or what about
Hey,
Express
show
service,
us
like-
to.
Yes.
Subaru.